More or less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft.
So let's talk football. The stadium will be the place to be in 2 Thursdays. The Jags hosting their annual draft party. We will be there with a 1-hour special on draft night. This has been a fascinating draft cycle, in my opinion. A bit quiet lately, but things could change this week. Trevor Lawrence, Foye Oluokun, Doug Peterson, Trent Baalke all scheduled to meet with the media. And Dan, we like to say the salary cap isn't real, and here's why.
Why is that?
Well, because somehow the Jags have the 3rd most cap space in the NFL right now, despite spending the 2nd most amount of money in free agency and extension contracts this offseason, like $339 million worth.
So you're telling me there's going to be another move?
Clever cap management by the Jags, and, well, you just read my mind. Why do I have a feeling the Jags will make one more splash move this offseason? Was there something to the Foye extension, the timing of the Josh Allen extension before the draft?
Well, then, you know, who knows? I mean, will they make another move? I hope so. Here's the one thing that has bothered me a little bit through the years with the Jaguars. I don't like when they leave $10 to $12 million available as the season goes on, because then suddenly the season is halfway through and they end up not spending it, and then they're 10 to 12 million under the cap. I want them to spend up to the cap every single year to give them the best chance to win.
Well, what would be a splash move? Okay, we're going to get into the receiver, Ayuk and Hicken stuff in a second, but you could also get to trade up into the top 10, right? That'd be a splash move.
That'd be
I will give you one reason. Now, you don't need $30 million for this,
right?
But you could make a splash move later on before the trade deadline during the season, so you want to leave some cap space.
And the trade deadline has been moved, right?
1 week past its usual place.
So,
all right, so this afternoon, some rumors, Dan, that Brandon Ayuk has requested a trade. The San Francisco 49ers star receiver wanting a new contract, nothing moving on that front. There's been rumors really all off season.
Been talking about it forever, right?
Yeah, Ayuk could be a candidate for teams like the Jags, the Bills, Steelers, Patriots, teams looking for more receiver help. Well, later this afternoon, Ayuk's agent debunked the report about asking for a trade. So stay tuned. He could be one to watch the next couple of weeks.
Would you rather draft a receiver or trade for an Ayuk?
Well, the way the Jags have drafted for a receiver, I think I'd rather trade for Ayuk. And, well, let's show you some evidence.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
This is what they have done.
Yeah, they took R.J. Soward with the 29th overall pick, Brent. And I'll never forget that. I remember Tom Coughlin getting on the phone with R.J. and basically scolding him and telling him, look, we're not going to have the kind of nonsense that you had out at SC here.
But they did.
And they ended up doing it.
Reggie Williams.
But it was also, you know what else? It was a copycat league at the time. And who were the champions? The Rams, the greatest show on turf. 3 receivers. We had Jimmy, we had Keenan. Man, if we have one more, wow.
Yeah, they were going for it.
Yeah.
Reggie Williams, he did some nice things, by the way, with the Jags, too, but not top 10 worthy.
No.
Matt Jones.
I can't be a hypocrite. I love the pick. I thought if they don't take him, Pittsburgh or Philly was going to take him, turn him into a player. They always do. I thought Matt Jones was a great move. But I also didn't know Matt Jones. Matt Jones did not have the DNA of a baller. You remember when he was a quarterback at Arkansas, he'd go stand away. He just didn't seem that interested in football.
First question I ever asked Matt Jones when I arrived in Jacksonville in 2008, do you have a drug problem?
Yeah.
Well, that's how that turned out.
Yeah.
Justin Blackmon, by the way, was gifted, talented, but obviously out of the league with his own issues. And that's the thing. Look at the receivers the Jags have picked. They've had character problems, right?
All 4 of those guys. Yeah, 100% for sure. And boy, Blackmon was the one that really hurt because they traded up to get him. It was a popular pick, and he was really talented. Remember, he had a game, what was it, against the Rams, where he had like 230 yards receiving in one game. This kid was terrific, but he had some demons that he had to and may still be dealing with. And boy, that's a guy who left hundreds of millions of dollars
potentially
on the table.
$10 million for sure, and many more. The biggest news of the offseason, Josh Allen signed a record extension last year, 5 years, $150 million. It's the richest deal in the history of the team by far. Allen already second all-time in team history in sacks. He'll have a chance to own the record books and really could go down as the best defensive player in team history by the end of it if he tracks well. He had perspective on the moment.
And I remember talking to Coach Stoops at the time. And, this is the first time I heard generational wealth. And, not knowing what that word meant, not knowing the value of it, to knowing that I just had my son. You know, I want to be with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, for the rest of our lives, and just knowing what that really meant. And I took a bet on myself, gamble on myself, and it paid out. I became a first-round draft pick, 7th overall. Fortunate to come here, and then, you know, seeing the things through and not knowing that it's not the first contract, it's the second contract, and knowing that, you know, I reached that point and I maximized on being patient, staying humble, staying on the grind, and staying dedicated to what I do.
Listen, money changes some players. That's the problem with free agency, but
not him.
I don't think it's going to change Josh Allen. Here's the deal, though. He's got to live up to big dollars. He's now a big-time player for this organization. What's he got to do to live up to this contract?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me because I have the answer.
Oh.
Yes, he's got 5 years now.
Yeah.
He has to get to 100 sacks.
Yeah.
I think he's at 45.
Yes.
He'll be the all-time leader in sacks for the Jaguars. He may be the best defensive player in Jaguar history. 100 sacks is rare air.
Yeah.
And if Josh Allen can average 11 sacks a year, man, he has lived up to that contract because he's a good football player. He's not just a pass rusher. He does a lot more. He's a leader of the defense. Get to 100 sacks, man, you definitely lived up to that contract.
Now, the math teachers watching at home at my house are so proud of my moment there, right there. That was quick math.
It was quick.
On my behalf.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.